We have traditionally taught this sonnet is about a young man reading the future in his constant stars of his own eyes, where if he breeds a son, truth and beauty will survive, rather than the band astrology if used to forecast the future. Having discovered the real sources used by the poet, I'll reveal what it really means. Welcome to this lecture. I'm Peter Matthews. My guest is again Luke Ranieri, reading in OP. Take it away, Luke.
Not from the stars do I me judgment pluck, and yet methinks I have astronomy, but not to tell a good or evil look, a plagues, a darse, or season's quality, nor can a fortune to brave minutes tell, pointing the age's thunder, rain and wind, or say with the princes if it shall go well, be oft predict that I never find. But from the noise me knowledge I derive, in constant stars. In them I read such art as truth and beauty shall together thrive, if from thyself to store thou wouldst convert. Or else thee, this I prognosticate. The end is truth's and beauty's doom and dead.
Sonnet 14 continues from the love of my beloved in Sonnet 13, though going slowly, softly, to look out with hope, to gaze upon a brilliant future and shine like the Zohar, the radiance of the sky. The primary source document for Sonnet 14 is Zohar Adash Midrash Anilim, written in Aramaic and Hebrew. The Hebrew letter Nun represents 14, referring to the Blessed Holy One, or God, and the 50 gates of Bina as he handed them to Moses, except one, called Torah. This opens the sonnet for us. Where is it from? Zohar Adash Midrash Hanilim 15a, which opens with Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai in the 2nd century AD, teaching how the sun was round like a ball and travels through 390 meilot, or degrees, which has descended on a sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees. For it is written, I will cause the sun's shadow to move 10 steps backwards on the sundial of Ahaz. So the shadow on the sundial moved back 10 steps. Isaiah 38:8. Why 390 degrees? Surely it should be 360 degrees. Well, Nathan Wolski explains the reason is because the numeric value of Shayim, or heavens, is 390 in Hebrew gematria. Mark Seat, on the other hand, translated differently as 365 days. Both are Zoharic scholars. So, read it as you will. I'll get to the connection to Sonnet 14 in a moment. I'm merely laying out the source document so you can understand what the sonnet means. Zohar Adash explains as the earth is spinning on its axis, the sun illuminates those on the other side of the world and those down under, like Australia, serving all of humanity, and in doing so it prevents water gushing from hell and inundating and killing us. Pretty graphic, isn't it? Rabbi Natan said, are you not astounded by those masters of Mishnah? For the decree of their mouth is like the decree of holy angels. We find the Zoharic portion of Parashat Hadasha 440 describing those masters of Mishnah as those who radiate the radiance of Shekinah, the luminaries of the sky, speaking of the angels rather than the unborn stars waiting for a soul. And as the sonnet goes, not from the stars do I do my judgment pluck, and yet methinks I have astronomy. For we know the morning stars, which we know our souls before being given a body, chant. He counts the stars and calls them all by name. How great is the Lord, from Psalms 147, 4-5. Isaiah 47, 13-14 in the Geneva Bible says, now listen for this one, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them, they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. This is akin to King James' demonology, where he burnt astrologers alive if they forecast the future. And he wrote, this part is now utterly unlawful to be trusted in or practiced among Christians as leaning to the ground of natural season. And it is this part which I called before the devil's school. And he's basically calling it magic, or magi is the word he uses. But he's talking about, he classifies astrology as magic, particularly when forecasting the future. So this opens up the true meaning from the source documents. So let us delve in a little bit further. Rabbi Eliezer opened in Zohar 1:7a, how immense is your goodness that you have hidden away for those in awe of you. Psalm 31 verse 20. How great is the precious, supernal goodness and blessed Holy One intends to lavish upon humanity for the supreme righteous, dreading sin, engaging in Torah when they enter that world. So where's that from? That's from the Zohar 1:7a. And continues on. It speaks of Genesis 1:16-18, where God said, God made two great lights, the larger one to govern the day, the smaller one to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set these lights in the sky to light the earth, to govern the day and night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. Now the word light refers to the Hebrew word me'orot, which I've spoken about previously, but it means luminaries or light bearers in the upper Garden of Eden, the place you have made to dwell in, O Yud He Vav He, Exodus 15:17, where all the righteous abide in spirit, bathing in the dew of rivers of pure balsam, enacting miracles for them like angels. It doesn't say they are angels. It says like angels. That's why I personally don't necessarily believe that we ascend as angels, and I'll cover this in a later episode, because there are certain aspects about angelology that shows that we do not actually become angels unless God specifically tells us that that is what will happen. In the case of Ezekiel. Now, then the rabbis saw the radiance of the holy lamp where the poet contemplated, and this is the poet, but from thine eyes my knowledge I derive. So this is talking about the luminaries, and they lived to tell the tale. In other words, they saw the face of God and they lived to tell the tale. The flow of emanation is like the flow of the waters of Lebanon, just as the scriptures describe in the Song of Songs. You are a garden fountain, a well of fresh water, streaming down from Lebanon's mountains. Song of Songs 4:15. It is a chain of emanation, from master to student, beginning with Adam at creation, all the way through to present day, though often referred to as the lifelong work of Abraham Zacuto, who is 1452 AD to 1514 AD. Now, this was called the Sefer Yoasin, or the Book of Lineage, and it was published in 1565 by Lord Rose, where he recorded from creation to 1500 AD and several other astronomical treatises, where the Blessed Holy One led Israel as a people from darkness to light, and Emilia tells us delivered us the Messiah, Jesus Christ, who died before his time. Had he survived, Jesus would have lighted the world, and the future temple would have occurred much earlier. For Emilia reveals the reason why Christ died, yet everyone, to my knowledge, has missed it. Like Jonah in the ship, sound asleep, while the evil is about to destroy humanity, the apostles were also asleep instead of being awake, watching and praying unto God. Now, Emilia in Salve Deus Rex Dedorum helps us unlock this part of the sonnet, and I'll read that section now. But now, returning to thy sleeping friends, that could not watch 1 hour for love of thee, even those 3 friends, which on thy grace depends, yet shut those eyes that should their Maker see, what colour, what excuse, or what amends from thy displeasure now can set them free. Yet thy pure piety bids them watch and pray, lest in temptation they be led away. Although the spirit was willing to obey, yet what great weakness in the flesh was found. They slept in ease, whilst thou in pain didst pray. Lo, they in sleep and thou in sorrow drowned. Yet God's right hand was unto thee a stay, when horror, grief, and sorrow did abound. His angel did appear from heaven to thee, to yield thee comfort in extremity. Although the spirit was willing, the flesh, or the body, was weak and failed in its duty to pray for Jesus. Though Jesus was in great pain for what was about to take place, he continued to pray to his Father. This is the astronomy that Emilia is discussing from the Masters of Mishnah, a lineage of Kabbalists, great luminaries, many of Emilia's ancestors throughout history recorded by Abraham Zacuto, passed down from their ancestors in Babylon to Hieronymus de Bassanus, to Baptista de Bassanus, her father Baptista Bassano, and now in present day from Emilia Bassano to you, the readers or hearers of her works. She doesn't tell, and this is from the sonnet, tell of good or evil luck, of plays or dearths or seasons' quality, nor can I find fortune to brief minutes tell, pointing to each thunder, rain and wind, or say with princes if it shall go well, by oft predict that I in heaven find. Emilia is very clear. She is not a fortune teller, but from thy eyes my knowledge I derive. Now let us examine what this verse really means. Emilia left us 2 secret codes, the eyes and the knowledge, which are both found in her dedication to Kita, or the crown, from the Tree of Life, disguised as a dedication to the Queen's most excellent majesty. I wanted knowledge to perform my will, for even as they do behold the stars, not with the eye of learning, but of sight, to find their motions want of knowledge bears. Although they see them in their brightest light, so, though I see the glory of her state, it's she that must instruct and elevate. Here, Amelia is talking about the divine feminine aspect of Adonai, who offers the brightest light, though not through the eyes of learning, but through true wisdom and knowledge. Wisdom that I spoke about in the introduction to the Sonnets. We learn from Zohar Adash Midrash Elohim 15b that the light of the Blessed Holy One, created at first, could gaze from the beginning of time right through to the end of the world, through blessings, through wars, corruption, all things imaginable. This is the radiance of wisdom, for it had been concealed for the righteous in this world and the world to come. Hence the reason I stated in the introduction to the Sonnets that ignoramuses will never understand this wisdom, because it was never given for them. When Moses was on Mount Sinai, his face shone from the radiance of the concealed light. He became like the sun because of his encounter with the divine wisdom of Yud He Vav He. As we discovered in Sonnets 7 and 10, the word emet, or truth, was Emilia's earlier secret code, or Lord of light and truth, referring to Elohim, pre-incarnate Christ. And this is referenced in John 1:2, 1 John 1:5, and John 14:6. What is the meaning from thine eyes? I gaze concerning the righteous. And how does it refer to Christ? Well, in Midrash Hanelim 15d, it refers to the come out. Look, you daughters of Zion. Look on King Solomon wearing a crown, the crown with which his mother crowned him on the day of his wedding, the day his heart rejoiced. Song of Songs 3:11. Speaking figuratively on the day that Christ returns for his bride, the daughters of Jerusalem, his holy church. This is the day he revives the dead, summons an angel to pass over every tombstone and breathe the Neshama spark of life, awakening the earth. And constant stars, from the sonnet, and constant stars in them. I read such art as truth and beauty shall together thrive. What an imagery, what a sonnet. We know truth from the sonnets is Christ, is talking about Christ, and beauty is Israel. And together they join in the marriage supper of the Lamb and thrive. That's what she's talking about. That's what she's trying to teach us. What's going to happen in Israel's future? Astronomy. Not astrology, astronomy. As we know, it is a date in the future only known to the Father, but doom and date to those against Israel. Yep, that's what that verse means. The risen will receive my spirit. I will pour out my spirit upon all people, Acts 2:17, infused with true knowledge of the divine. Hence, Emilia wrote, if from thyself, speaking about from the divine, to store thou wouldest convert, or convert the storehouse of souls, Or else of thee this I prognosticate. What's prognosticate? It means prophesy. So Emilia is prophesying of what is to come. Thy end is truth's and beauty's doom and date. Wow. More on that in the coming sonnets. Subscribe now and don't miss them. Thanks for watching and bless you heaps.